Hello, welcome to this very special conversation because today we are talking about history in the making right here in Orissa. On August 10th, the iconic Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar will host India's very first World Athletics Continental Tour bronze level meet. With me is sports editor Sundeep Misra. Sir, a very big welcome and a big moment for Orissa, a big moment for Indian athletics. How do you see it?
So I think, yeah, rightly put, it's a big moment for India. It's a big moment for the Athletic Federation of India. It's a big moment for Indian athletics. And at the same time, it's a massive moment for Odisha government because of the time, the amount of money they have invested into sport, at the culmination of whatever happened in 2017 at the Asian Athletic Championships. And then when you see all the big tournaments that they have done, I think at some level you do believe you kind of visualize it yourself that this is where Indian track and field should reach eventually, which is like the AFI spokesperson and the former president Adil Sumariwala said that this time we are at a bronze level. We're going to go up till silver, then we go to diamond, and then we go to the World Athletic Championships. I know it's a long process, and I don't know how many years that might take. But at the same time, you still need to take a first step. And I think when you take a first step, you eventually take the next steps, however long it might take. And this will probably propel Indian track and field into a very different direction because, you know, what happens is that it's just not about the number of athletes. It's just never about how many big names are coming at a bronze event. It's always about how many juniors are getting exposed to Indian athletics, how many juniors are able to do the warm up, on the track behind, and how many of them will actually run tomorrow, and how many of them will reach the podium. That is actually that decides your future. And I think at this moment of time, we can all very safely say that the future is good.
And we have seen Odisha transform into a sports powerhouse over the last few years from the 2017 Asian Athletics Championship to hosting back-to-back Hockey World Cups. So, what do you think makes Odisha such a natural choice for an event of this magnitude?
I don't think anything makes anyone a natural choice. It's about the mindset. It's about people coming together. It's a team. It's almost like a relay race that you get a good team. You still the baton might fall down. You still might falter at the finish line. So it's all about teamwork. And I think irrespective of whoever is in power, and as Indians we do love, okay, I'm in power, he's not in power. That doesn't really matter. What matters is that when somebody else has established a foundation, how you take the baton on and then run and then create more. And I think that is exactly what we are seeing in Orissa. And I think that's probably the most brilliant thing that whatever happened before, and all of that was so positive, looking at two World Hockey Championships, looking at the Asian Athletic Championships, looking at so many other tournaments that keep happening in this state, them coming forward to give you a helping hand, them coming forward to say that, okay, fine, let us give our shoulders to create, to take on Indian sport to a different level. I think that requires a lot of teamwork. It also requires not only the investment part, but it also requires a certain amount of passion. And some people are there who actually form the core of it, and the rest of them are all part of the team. And I think that is where I think now Odisha will probably slightly alter course. When I say alter the course, I mean they'll probably look at other sport also, not just Indian hockey or not just hockey in the state. So I think when you look at track and field, and I have said this earlier, and today I think Adil also said the same thing. It is the mother of all sport. You you are you do good in track and field, you remembered across the world. That is the power of track and field. So let's see how much we can create and how much track and field can prosper with one state putting in so much of money.
And the press conference had just finished in Bhubaneswar Kalinga Stadium. So, can you tell us about the things that happened in the press conference? Can you tell us about the to our audience, to what happened in the press conference before the just uh, World Continental Tour bronze meet?
I think it was a normal press conference that you normally see at sports events. I mean, we've seen so many through the years. So it was the AFI president sitting there. It was the World Athletics being represented by Adil Sumariwala, the former president of the AFI. He's the vice president of World Athletics. You had the secretary and commissioner of sport. He was also there. All of them explaining, in a way that how Orissa is going to create more and more infra and how this can probably take sports into a different direction, if I may use the word track and field into a different direction. So athletes were all there. Anurani has just come in after winning a gold in Europe. Animesh Kujur was there. Sachin was there. So you had the cream of Indian athletes all sitting there, and all probably the next ones. I mean, Anurani, okay, to a particular extent, you can't say that she's the next one in a sense that she's done a sizable amount of career. She's done very well. Animesh, of course, is itching to be sub 10, itching to do something on the world stage. And Orissa, in a way, has adopted him. I mean, a lot of people keep saying that, how many athletes from the state are there? I don't think that really matters. What matters is what you're creating. That actually matters. What matters is how many athletes are coming out of the infra that you create, how many athletes are coming out of the competitions that you give them. I think that is more important. There is a section of the media that focuses and concentrates, how many of the homegrown guys are there. I don't really think that really matters, honestly. I think if the nation is going to get more positivity out of this, that is what really matters. And I think that is really happening.
And for athletes, these C category ranking points could make or break their qualification for the upcoming Tokyo World Championship. So, how much pressure and opportunity do you think this brings to our Indian contingent?
I think big pressure. Everybody wants to go to a world championships. We talk a lot about Olympic games, that the track and field at the Olympic games. I like go to an Olympic games. Of course, we all go to work, but I love the track and field out there. I mean, I spend days out there trying to understand track and field. I think everybody tries to do that. I'm not the only one who tries to do that. But at the same time, a world championship, it's a very different ball game. A world championship is like how do I put it? It's the ultimate prize out there for any athlete. Of course, the Olympic gold, the Olympic silver, that matters in terms of career. That matters because that is what gives you glory. But World Championships is what certifies you, what stamps you as class, because that is pure track and field happening out there. It's as pure as track and field can get. So the pressure is huge. Pressure to qualify for that, pressure to go through, it preys on your mind. It preys on whatever you're trying to qualify, irrespective of whatever discipline you are in, is irrespective of whatever sport you are in. The pinnacle is the world championship. And I think from the 10 that have, or the 8 that have already qualified, I mean, we are trying to push to 14, we are trying to push to 18. I just really hope that the relays, gets in. They did so well in Budapest. I mean, that was a high moment of inspiration. That was a high moment of Indian track and field to see your boys run and the way they ran. I mean, we all understand, we all know that. I mean, it's not
Yes.
faded from our memories at all. So I think this is the pressure is, I think, what makes the best come out. And I think, and I hope that tomorrow when the competition is there, some of them do PB, some of them actually reach at least near to the qualifying mark or even crack it. I mean, if somebody cracks it, the Continental bronze will be certified a success, and I think that's what really matters.
And from the 2017 championship to now, what has Odisha learned, improved, and mastered about hosting large scale international sporting events?
I think organization. I mean, the perfect example is two hockey World Cups consecutive. The FIH doesn't give you a hockey world championship just because you're Orissa. It doesn't give it to India just because you're India. And understand, when we got the 2018, we were not the top ranked team. We were not even in the top four. And we
Correct.
were not the teams that were everybody was trying to put money on that these guys are going to go to the semis and the final. Of course, we dreamt of it. We were ambitious enough. We were aspiring that our team reaches a semi or even a final because it was home. But at the same time, you can't fault the organization. The organization came very solidly. I mean, it was seamless. I mean, whether it was media, whether it was stadium infra, whether it was stadium administration, it was perfect. So that experience, I think, is going to be following into this. And again, I'll repeat what Adil said is that if this is good enough, if this is a great event, then it's going to be followed by a silver, followed by a gold, followed by a diamond. Of course, we're not going to keep timelines on that, and nobody knows the timelines. The world athletics is inundated with the bidding process. There are many more countries that would want to host these kind of events. yes, it helps that India is pushing and pushing the envelope so much that even World Athletics probably and its president Sebastian Coe, we all know he has slightly a soft corner for India. So maybe all of that will help and we get bigger events.
And sir, you have covered sports for decades. So, does the buzz around this Continental Tour bronze remind you of any other breakthrough moment for Indian sport?
Lots of them. I mean, if you just stick to track and field, of course, the one that I didn't cover, but I was like this fan sitting in the stadium at the '82 Asian Games, just come out of school to watch it. Remember PT Usha getting a silver behind Lydia De Vega in the 100 and the 200, the Filipino runner who then later became a film star. You had Charles Borromeo, you had MD Valsamma, you had Geeta Jutsi, you had Gopal Saini. I mean, you can reel off names. I mean, there were so many of them. You had the 20-kilometer walk, Chand. I mean, phenomenal guys are all out there. But I think if you really look at it in terms of what really turned the corner was, I think, 2017 when you had a Kalinga Stadium completely packed. And if you remember, Neeraj Chopra came here in 2017, won gold here. That was the start probably of a illustrious career. That was the start of a reign in javelin across the world that we all remember now. 2018 Jakarta, and then what happened in Tokyo, including Paris. I mean, and the best part is that if today Neeraj wins a silver, we are all so depressed and disappointed. I think when you look at all those contours, then you actually realize that we are inching our way forward. I know one Neeraj Chopra is not like, one swallow can't make a summer, but there will be others. We might feel that, people are not of the same caliber, not of the same class, but there will be others who are coming through the juniors. And you and Sushant, who cover athletics so much across the country, length and breadth, I think you both realize the amount of juniors that are coming through. And these are not the juniors like earlier ones who were competing because, okay, fine, at the end of it, you had a job. These are juniors who are competing not only because they want the good things for themselves in terms of what life offers, but also because they want to be on podiums. They want to be winning at the Asian level. They want to be winning at a world level. So there is this passion, there is this zeal. And if Odisha can provide it, if AFI can provide it, if the Indian government can provide it with massive competitions, so why not?
And one last question before we wrapping up. So, if you had to sum up in one sentence what this event means for Indian athletics, and what would it be?
An entire Indian athletic future wrapped in your hand, put it in your fist, and you realize the power of it. That is the power that this continental bronze may give. A lot of people may not realize it, but people who understand sport, people who understand track and field, people who understand the power of a competition realize it, and that is what the continental bronze is all for.
Okay. And thank you so much, Sandeep sir, for joining us. And stay tuned with
Thank you,
an
Kubaji.
Sport for all the latest updates straight from Bhubaneswar. Thank you so much.
Thanks.